Which burns more fat, strength training or cardio? And if you're interested in learning more, working with us, go ahead and click the link below. But we would have to specify a few things before we go any further with this. Like, are we talking about just the act of, like technically when you're talking about just burning fat, like just which activities you're primarily burning the most fat? It's when you're sleeping. You're burning almost primarily fat when you're sleeping. And when you're up and running around and you're breathing really, really heavy, your body is mostly burning sugar. So which one are we talking about? Now, are we talking about body composition, like the amount, that's like sitting on, that's like sitting between your skin and your muscle? Like, are we talking about that kind of fat? Because if we're talking about body composition, then strength training is the obvious winner. But cardio still has a place. It's not like you should leave it out. And really, if we're really getting into this, the winner is neither of them. There is a third category. Strength training is kind of over here with, 1 to 10 minutes in between each set, and cardio, like steady state cardio, is kind of over here where you're just kind of doing 120 to 140 beats per minute for long periods of time, not changing. But what about the high intensity interval training, the alactic and glycolytic medium, where your heart rate's going up and then it's coming down, and then going up and then coming down? This is actually, I'm really reluctant to hammer on this too hard, because this is just a massive pool of confusion for a lot of people. My reluctance is based in, I don't want you to hear this and then think, well, I'll do that 5 days a week and then I'll lose a bunch of fat. It doesn't work like that. So alactic and glycolytic, high intensity interval training, right? It's where you're driving your heart rate up and then you're letting it fall, then driving it up and then letting it fall. It's the workout that just sucks. It's where your heart's beating out of your chest, and your muscles are burning, and it's rough, and you can't catch your breath. So that is the one that is going to cause the fastest effect when it comes to body composition, the actually losing the fat that you're holding, that you're storing in your body. The reason why I say that I'm reluctant to tell you, because you'll end up wanting to do it 5 days a week, is because your body is just not going to be able to hold up against that. You're either going to end up throttling back on your exercise so hard that you're just not getting what you could have out of it, or you're going to do both of these really. You're going to work and work and work and work and work, and then you're going to under recover, and then you're not going to get the effect that you did want from doing that thing in the first place. So your body, if you're doing high intensity interval training, if you're truly really hitting it, you're only going to be able to get maybe 10 or 15 true minutes of high intensity interval training, maybe, and you're only going to be able to do that 2 to 3 times a week. So you're going to get 30 to 45 minutes total in a given week. If you try to do 5 hours, so 5 workouts, 1 hour each, 5 days a week of high intensity interval training, your body is going to revolt. You're going to be so sore that you can't stand it. You will not be able to, because people, we're not professional athletes that just our lives revolve around this. You probably got a job, you probably got some grandkids or some kids. You got other things that you want to do. You don't have the time to just sleep for 16 hours a day. So your body's just not going to like this very much. It's going to, and when you don't recover, you can't get you're just another thing that I'm reluctant to talk about. Stress can be a good thing. Imposed stress is great. To a certain degree, you have to recover from that stress to get the magic, right? So you don't actually lose weight during your workout. You lose weight in the recovery. You don't actually gain strength when you're strength training. You get it on the back end. You impose a demand, impose a stress, and then you get it on the back end. You don't get it up. It's not like it happens in the moment. You're actually getting weaker when you're strength training, and then your body is like, wow, we got to add some strength. And you're not losing fat while you're doing high intensity interval training. You're using up a ton of energy, and you're sending a signal to the muscle to secrete different compounds that are going to be like, hey, we need to consume the fat that's here so that we can do this workout next week. We're going to give something on the back end. So it's really when you're laughing, relaxing, hanging out, when you're going to get all the effects from your workout. That's when the magic happens. But which is the clear winner? Is it strength training? Is it cardio? Well, strength training wins, but alactic and glycolytic training are really where it comes in handy. But there is a significant amount of nuance here, and it really depends on the person. If you are, if you're 65 years old, you've never trained a day in your life, and all you've done is, and let's say you retired 2 years ago, and good for you, but all you've done is garden in the summertime for the last 2 years, are you really gonna walk into high intensity interval training and just hammer it? Like, bad idea. Now, everybody's like, I don't wanna get too far into this, but everybody's just a little bit different, and you can't just sit there and be like, okay, well, what's the best exercise? What's the best workout? Depends on the person. And we want to be using all of these. Like, you should probably be, like, most of us should probably be doing 2 to 4 strength training workouts per week, 1 to 2 days a week of steady state cardio, 1 to 3 days a week of high intensity interval training. And depending on what you're trying to do, what your age levels are, where your preparedness is, would really change all of that quite a bit. Because if you notice, like, those numbers don't add up if you added up all the maximums. So anyway, it depends on you, it depends on a lot of things, but which burns more fat, steady state cardio, strength training, or high intensity interval training? Well, from a body composition standpoint, strength training and high intensity interval training win. From the standpoint of what is your body actually burning during the activity, cardio and sleeping would actually be where you're burning the most amount of fat. And the higher that your heart rate goes, the more sugar that you're going to be burning. Now, before somebody comes at me and is like, well, in the keto research, blah, 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 blah. Keep in mind that during the keto research, the people that are on keto, the people that they're not eating any carbohydrates or enough to matter. So where are they gonna pull the energy from? They don't have it to burn. So of course their body is going to burn fat because they don't have the carbs to burn. See what I mean? So it's just a little silly to compare these. Who's burning the most fat? But anyway, body composition I think is what most people are after. Strength training, high intensity interval training, but do not count out the cardio. It is still a thing. You wanna have a nuanced approach to this. You wanna think it through. You wanna work with a professional. If you're interested in learning how we would work with your significant, your specific circumstance, go ahead and click the link below.